Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today we are talking about Not Actually by Madeline Nixon. Um, this one was a really fun read. I got through it in a day. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it, and it was a quick, easy read. Um, I really... Lizard Queen is probably my favorite character, which is Kieran's pet gecko. And I was actually surprised that it was a female lizard because I don't know why, but I just kind of looked at it and thought, oh, he's cute, you know. So I thought it was a male lizard. I'm not exactly sure how you tell one way or the other, but either way, he's on the shoulder of Kieran on the front, and then if you look on the back, she's on a plate of food that she's nommed up. So Not Actually is a story about Zoey and Kieran. Kieran comes from a kind of an Irish family. Comes from an Irish family. And his siblings all have Irish names. He's got a younger sister, Rory, and an older brother, Sean. I think Sean's older. Zoey herself has a brother, Victor, who is married, and he's doing well in life, and she feels like a complete failure. But that's kind of like a whole thing with her. She's always feeling like a failure next to her brother because he went to college, he went to the right schools, he took the right classes, he got married, he's got a house, he's got a nice job. She has left her toxic relationship and she's still trying to bounce back from that, and she's just been fired from her job, and she's living with her brother, and she's constantly been compared to her brother. And one of the things that I enjoyed about this is the story kind of has a Friends vibe. And it especially comes through with Zoey's relationship with her mother, where her mother is constantly, Victor can do no wrong and Zoey can do no right. And even though the characters in Not Actually have similarities to in their characterizations and their situations as some of the characters in Friends do, they are their own characters. And I honestly, while I could probably see Phoebe from Friends going to the Rocky Horror Picture Show, I don't know that I would be able to see Monica doing that, or even Rachel. But Zoey is definitely into the Rocky Picture Horror Show to the point that she is obsessed. She is part of the what they call a shadow cast. I've never had to do as much research after reading a book as I had with this, because most books, when I read the books, everything is fully explained, and it's explained well enough that I feel like I know enough about the situation or the whatever their topic is. With this, there were things I had to research, and because I was interested, it was just something that I was really interested in. I like to tell people I'm a chaos goblin, and to know that there was this whole culture surrounding the Rocky Picture Horror Show that was pure chaos, very organized chaos, but if you have no idea what you're walking into, it's absolute pure chaos. And to know that this existed and I've never been a part of it, it was like, how did I not know this existed? And I love that Zoey is not only excited about it, but so excited that she wants to introduce others to it, like her and her friends enjoy this. She kind of indoctrinates Kieran into it, and he is as flabbergasted as I am when she's handing him like toast and toilet paper, and he's like, why do we need toast at a movie theater? What is going on? And why did you bring water pistols? And it's like, I have no idea what's going on, and I want to know more, so this is something that I've looked up, and I still have to reach out to the fandom and say, hey guys, tell me more, because Google and Wikipedia just are not satisfying. They're not giving us satisfying enough information. So definitely something I'm going to check out now that I know that it's a thing. But Zoey was in this toxic relationship with a guy named Mason, and this guy, he can just step off. If I had a least favorite character, it is definitely, like, I hate him more than I hate Zoey's mom. And it's funny because Zoey's mom is like very much, oh, we don't like Mason, he's a bad apple, and you're gonna find out. And when Zoey does break up with him, she doesn't want to tell her mom because she's like, I just don't want to hear her say, I told you so. But then when she finally does tell her mom that she broke up with him, she's like, well, what did you do wrong? What did you do to chase him away? And she's like, wait, what? And she's like, well, why did he break up with you? And she's like, no, I broke up with him. She's like, sure, of course you did. Why did he really break up with you? What did you do? You know, and it's like, even when she's dating a good guy, like when she's dating Kieran, and her mom's like bashing her for dating Kieran, and then turn around and she's like, oh, don't mess this up. And she's like, no, you don't get to tell me that he's bad and then tell me that he's like, make up your mind, you're giving me whiplash here. And that's how her mom is just like, it doesn't matter what she does, she can't do anything right. If she makes a pie for Thanksgiving, it's not good enough. If she buys a store-bought pie, she's lazy. If she gets a job, it's not a good enough job. If she quits that job to take a better job, well, you're throwing your life away by not keeping that job. And it's like, Mom, what do I need to do to please you? What do I need to do to get you to just, at the very least, leave me alone? You know, so she's dealing with the trauma response of dealing with her mother's constant disapproval. Then she's in this relationship with Mason, and he's toxic to the core. He's one of those, I can go out and have guy night every week, you don't get to go out. He criticizes what she does, she criticizes what she wears, and makes her feel completely incompetent to do anything, to the point where when she's out on her own, she has no self-confidence, and she's got to build all of that back up. And I love how Madeline was able to tell this really engaging and fun, enjoyable story, and still hit on these hard topics of the trauma that just being in toxic relationships can do to you, or what they can, how they can really affect your adulthood. And I ran into other people when, you know, you try to talk to them about your childhood trauma, they're like, oh yeah, but that was when you were a kid, you should be over that by now. And it's like, there are things that you experience in your childhood, whether it's because of something your parents did, or because of something your aunts or uncles or cousins or grandparents or teachers or whatever did, that stick with you. And I love that Madeline is very much a, you know, she advocates for therapy, that it's not a bad thing. It's not that, it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. It means that you are actually doing something to advocate for yourself. And Zoey is constantly, throughout the entire book, she is constantly downing on herself. And it never, even when she's not downing on herself, if she's kicking herself for making a mistake, it's never because of how it affects her. And nothing that affects her is, she kind of justifies every bad thing that happens to her. It's like, oh, of course I got fired, or I burned myself, or I tripped and twisted my ankle, or whatever, because it's me and my life's a mess and I'm a mess, and that's just what it is. The universe hates me, and you know, she just accepts every bad thing that happens to her, but is absolutely appalled if anything bad happens to anyone else. And she's like always concerned with how what she's doing or what she's saying or how she's behaving is affecting others, and never really, it takes her so long to start to advocate for herself and to be able to say, okay, hey, hang on. Let me tell you what I need. Let me tell you how I'm feeling. Let me tell you what's going on. And when she is able to finally start speaking up to herself for herself, she finds that sometimes, yes, she gets the reaction she thought she was going to get, and other times she gets a completely different reaction, and it's one of understanding and whatnot. And she's always going out of her way to help somebody else. Even when she's living with her brother, anytime she makes a mess, she is constantly trying to clean it up and get it all, you know, she's so afraid of messing things up for her brother and being like, I don't want my being a complete mess of a person to rub off on you in your life. And like, even at one point, like, she's such a neat person, because like, even when she goes back to the apartment to get her stuff, the apartment is in a shambles, and it's not because she hasn't been cleaning. Well, is because she hasn't been cleaning, because she hasn't been there for 3 weeks, and the boyfriend has been on his own, and this is how he lives when he's by himself, because there's nobody to pick up after him. And he is such a narcissist that, like, I just, you know, there's a point where somebody punches him, and I'm like, I don't think you punched him enough. Do it again. Like, the guy needed his butt absolutely handed to him, and basically he just kind of gets tossed around, and that's like, I would have preferred to just see him get wrecked. But because he was such a terribly toxic person. But I do love Victor and Kieran and their friendship. They have kind of this brotherly bond. Kieran is kind of like, Victor's only had Zoey as a sibling, so Kieran's his closest thing he's got to a brother, and the two of them get along so well. And even when they're not talking to each other for a time because of a different rift, they get a rift between them, and they don't talk to each other for a little bit, and it's perfectly fine, because as soon as they do start talking to each other, it's like no time has passed. They just have this really great brotherly friendship where nothing is ever so bad and nothing is ever so egregious that the two of them can't overcome it and be like, okay, you know what? I need to step back from the relationship for a minute and process this. Okay, I've processed it. Hey, what you been up to? Let's go play volleyball or go get dinner or something, you know? And I love that paradigm shift that Zoey goes through when she kind of shifts from, it's not always about everybody else. Sometimes it's okay for it to be about me. And she, you know, kind of puts her foot down and says, okay, this is what I need. This is what I need to do. And I need the support of the people that are closest to me. And if you can't be supportive of me, then for this season of my life, I need you to take a back seat. And she finds that when she's able to finally step into her power of saying what she needs and advocating for herself, I love the way that she is able to start having the conversations that needs to happen. And they're not easy. And a lot of times, like when she's talking to her mother, it's like, okay, how is this relationship is this going to be a no contact relationship? Or is it going to be something that can survive and grow from whatever this toxic relationship has been up to this point. What is her relationship moving forward with her brother and her sister-in-law going to be like? She's been cut off from her best friend for about for like 2.5, 3 years. She gave up a dream job, the job of her dreams, for this guy, and as a result, everything that she wanted to do, the certificates that and licenses that she's had, has expired. So now she's got to figure out, okay, what does my life look like? Is the dream that the person I was before this relationship still the dream that I, after this relationship, still want? And if it is, how do I get it back? And if it's not, where do I go from there? And then exploring her relationship with Kieran, because Kieran, she's so not used to having this healthy relationship that she's got to navigate that in a way that she's so convinced she's going to screw it up that she's almost manifesting that reality. And so she's got to figure out, okay, it's not about whether I deserve this relationship, because I do deserve to be accepted, I do deserve to be loved, I do deserve to be seen and heard. But how do I do that while dealing with the trauma that I'm carrying? And again, it goes into those difficult conversations. She's got to have these difficult conversations with everybody. She's got to have them with her best friend. She's got to have them with her brother, with her sister-in-law, with her mother, with her boyfriend, with her therapist, with herself, and even with the ex-boyfriend that just won't go away because he just doesn't get the hint. Like, dude, she left a note saying, "Get lost," basically, on the counter. Can you not read? Because that's, given what we know about Nathan, or Mason, I could absolutely see that. Oh, another thing that really I got interested in was I am one of those dumb Americans who honestly thought that the United States is the only place that ever celebrated Thanksgiving. I did not realize that Canada also celebrates Thanksgiving, and Madeline Nixon is a Canadian author, and so it kind of threw me, even though I knew that the story was taking place in Ontario, when she's like, "Oh yeah, Vanessa waited until the day after Thanksgiving to start decorating for Halloween." And I was like, wait, what? That's backwards, right? And so that's another thing that I looked up, and yeah, the first early Thanksgiving in Canada happens in early October. And when I asked online, because again, I Googled it and it gave me like a big historical thing, and I have no problem using Google, I just don't trust Google to be my only source of research. So I did ask people on the internet, hey, if you're from Canada, can you explain why you guys have Thanksgiving in October? And a couple of them quite wittily came back with, can you explain why America has it in November? It seems like that's way past the harvest, isn't it? And it's like, well, yeah, but we also have self-important presidents who think they're entitled to a lot more than what they should be, and start making holidays just because. And some of the holidays are just because. The November Thanksgiving, I'm not exactly sure why it got put in November in the United States. Through history class, I've gotten like 3 different stories, but it all comes down to it's supposed to be a celebration of when the Indians helped the Pilgrims survive a harsh winter. But as far as why the president at the time that made it a holiday, I've heard 3 different stories, and with AI running rampant on the internet, it's hard to tell which one's true. So, the other thing I like is how realistic this story is, because they have the couple's not just lusting after each other, they have real connection. They're giving each other a hard time. They have a point when they both have head lice, and they're spending a week treating each other, and they're giving each other a hard time and asking each other about their days and whatnot. There's points when she and her brother are irritating each other, and they're playfully flipping each other off instead of doing the whole sticking your tongue out at people. And then, of course, like I said, she has her anxiety spirals. This is actually the second book in a series of romance novels. The first one is called Emergency Lullaby, and these are part of the Like a Love Song series. So I will link both books in the description below. I will also, of course, link one of my own books in the descriptions below. And yeah, I like I said, I really enjoyed this book, and I think that it's a really good, cozy romance. There is spice. There is definitely spice. But, again, nothing that I had a problem with just kind of skipping over when it came up. But other than that, yeah, like I said, I enjoyed it. So, until next time, I will see you guys in the next video when we are doing, what are we doing? I have no idea. I think it's Mediterranean Waves is the next one I want to read. So, until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye.